FPL Game Week 18 final team selection decisions. It is Christmas Day, but in today's video, we're going to have a look at everything you need to know be making your final decisions going into FPL Game Week 18. Whether you need to know who you should be captaining, whether Matheus Cunha is going to play, what you should be doing with the injured Bukayo Saka, who is owned by over 80% of active players. We'll be discussing all of that, what I plan on doing with my team going into FPL Game Week 18. What is up, everyone? FPL Harry here. Before we dive in, 2,000 likes is the aim to subscribe if you're new around here. And happy Christmas, or Merry Christmas and happy holidays to anyone celebrating. Before you all get alarmed that I'm uploading a video on Christmas morning, do not worry. I'm recording this in the afternoon on Christmas Day, ready to be uploaded and scheduled for you all. I will be enjoying myself, whatever I'm doing on Christmas morning, as I hope some of you are and all of you are as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in as and when you have time to watch this. As a little bit of a festive ask, we're about 1,000 likes away now from 1,500 subscribers. So if you want to help us out and get us across that little line, that would be fantastic. If we could do that either today, going into Game Week 18, or by the new year, that would be fantastic. If you are new around here, I know there's going to be 1,000 people watching this video that are not subscribed. So if you want to help me, hit that subscribe button. Let's dive into the video. First one is going to be, what should you be doing with Matheus Cunha? So at the moment, Matheus Cunha is still not banned for Wolves. It doesn't look like he's going to be missing Game Week 18 either. And looking like with the way that the fixtures are piling on, he's probably not going to miss Game Week 19 either. So if you own Matheus Cunha, yes, there are some other good options you could be selling him to, but we'll talk about some of those forwards to buy. But if you own him, he's definitely not a priority sell, given he should be available this week. Next up is, what should you be doing if you still have the wildcard? So this is Game Week 18 and going into Game Week 19, as that's halfway through the season, will be the final opportunity you have to be playing your first wildcard. As it said in the rules on the FPL website, Sunday the 19th at 1 o'clock, which is the Game Week 19 deadline, will be the last opportunity that you have to play your wildcard. So if you haven't activated already and want to plan for a Christmas Day wildcard, if that's what you're doing, then potentially do. If not, you have one final week going into Game Week 19 to play your first wildcard. If you don't play it in Game Week 20, when everyone gets their second wildcard, you will be left with just one. They do not stack. Finally, let's have a look at the Captaincy Ranking. We have gone and put Mo Salah in number one. I think it's pretty clear to be number one, and the actual real question is, should you be triple captaining Mo Salah? Personally, I'm not certain he'll get more than 70 or so minutes, which probably is not enough. However, Leicester have been all over the place, and Salah has been very, very good as of late, and Liverpool are scoring an awful lot of goals. So if you've got Mo Salah and want to play with triple captain, you can. I still think with the amount of double game weeks we've got later on in the season, I would be holding on to it, but it is absolutely a conversation to be had, because Salah is head and shoulders above the rest in terms of captaincy. Second, I've actually got Erling Haaland. If you still own him at home to Everton, it's not the worst fixture at home, and we do expect Manchester City, do I dare say it, at some point to bounce back and turn the corner. Maybe, but he is in at number 2. Cole Palmer at home to Fulham on Boxing Day as well, in at number 3. He's been a little bit disappointing in terms of FPL returns, with 2 blanks on the bounce again, and actually quite a few blanks in the past sort of 7-8 weeks, but he is still at number 3, with Alexander Isak closely in at number 4 with a hat-trick last time out. A slightly more difficult fixture, of course, for him against Aston Villa this week. Then finally, it is going to be the final time the first time in a while we've put a defender in our captaincy ranking, and that is Trent Alexander-Arnold of Liverpool. Leicester at home this week is going to be our number 5 captain. If you fancy a differential away from Mo Salah at Liverpool, Trent could be in with a real shout if he plays like he did last time out. So there's no real injury dilemmas this week. Of course, the main one is that there's going to be no Bukayo Saka for Arsenal. Outside of that, there's not been really any major press conference news. If there are injury updates that you're looking for, there might be some coming out on Christmas Day. There might be some that we can discuss in the deadline stream on Thursday morning. But really, at time of recording, the only real thing that we've got is the only major bit of injury news is the Bukayo Saka is likely out until March. So we'll look at some of the replacements there. Alisson is the number 1 goalkeeper actually to buy, with the Liverpool fixtures coming up and the potential double over David Raya, who's just in at second. However, we did look in the transfer targets video yesterday that actually the Arsenal underlying attacking data is, the underlying defensive data, should I say, is really, really strong. Actually, 0.66 expected goals conceded per 90 over the past 6 weeks is crazy good. So Alisson and Raya are both great buys. Fabianski, of course, at a cheap price away at Southampton this week is nice. And my favourite of the cheap goalkeepers at the moment is probably going to be Henderson of Crystal Palace. I don't mind having a look at someone like a Kepa at Bournemouth. Bournemouth are looking very good. You could also have a look at Sanchez of Chelsea, but there is, of course, a small chance that Jorgensen comes in. Into the defenders, Trent Alexander-Arnold, for the explosivity and the attacking threat that he's got, is actually number 1, with Gabriel coming in number 2. Most of you already own Gabriel and will be looking to add to it on Trent Alexander-Arnold with the Bukayo Saka money, which is very, very sort of at a good time come up for a lot of you looking to buy Trent into your teams this week. In terms of cheaper ones, I've actually moved Kirkes above Munoz. Just a better fixture this week, I think, and slightly better defensive data. Munoz is probably more attacking out of the two, though, goes away to Bournemouth. If you need cheaper ones, Howson is the better one to buy this week, as he scored against Manchester United last time out. And then we've got Castagna in at number 6. He's a great option, but does go away to Chelsea this week. Then we move into midfield. Of course, Mo Salah and Cole Palmer remain the best two, but we're excluding them from the ranking because pretty much everyone watching this video is going to own both of those. Gabriel Martinelli, I prefer over Martin Odegaard. Now, Martin Odegaard might be on penalties. He might be on some set pieces now, but if Martinelli is likely to play 80 plus minutes on that right wing now that Bukayo Saka is likely out, I think he's a fantastic punt. In terms of others, Ismail Assar is my favourite of the cheaper ones with the fixture that they've got coming up, including Southampton at home in game week 19 after the Bournemouth fixture this week. Gordon at home to Aston Villa this week, I really like, on top of Alexander Isak. Kulusevski is known at number 5. He's maybe slightly more expensive than we really want, but maybe he's the most reliable in terms of minutes of the Spurs attack. If we knew that Maddison would start most games, he would be clear above Kulusevski, but right now it's not as guaranteed. So I've actually gone with Kulusevski here. And then it is Ahmad of Manchester United in at number 6 as another cheap option, rivaling Ismail Assar this week with Wolves away, with Bruno Fernandes, of course, in at number 1. Then we're moving up front. If you need strikers to buy for game week 18, Alexander Isak is still number 1. Gabriel Jesus, taking a punt on him as number 2. Now, some of you are talking to me about Havertz versus Jesus. I'm not sure Havertz is worth necessarily the money when Jesus is probably going to be playing further forward with him, and Havertz is slightly deeper, playing alongside Martin Odegaard. So Jesus, I would buy over Kai Havertz. Erling Haaland, if the money you free up selling Bukayo Saka allows you to get Erling Haaland, I actually don't hate it. It's not really worthwhile when we have Palmer, Salah, Saka all available. But Haaland, if you can get to him, is not the worst thing to do as a differential, but most of you can't afford that. Number 4 is going to be Jackson, and then number 5 is going to be Solanke. Jackson would be higher up, but there is a slight bit of doubt going around about his minutes over the Christmas period, given he did miss that midweek fixture against Southampton a while ago. I personally don't see Jackson missing out at all, though. Then we're going to have a look at the benching rankings in terms of goalkeepers. There's not that much to talk about. I think a lot of it's quite self-explanatory this week. Of course, Alisson and Raya and Sanchez, they go above Fabianski, but Fabianski against Southampton, I would play over Verbruggen, over Sells, over Flecken, and over Henderson if you own Fabianski at the moment. Into defence, if you have Joe Gomez at home to Leicester, I would be playing him over most of the attacking ones just because the clean sheet odds for Liverpool this week are so high. Kirkes is just above Munoz. Munoz is above Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall is then, I think, the most reliable. He also got a late bonus point last week, which is always nice to see. I'd actually play him over the Manchester United defence going away to Wolves this week. Olaina, Van Heck, Aït-Nouri, and then the Fulham defenders going away to Chelsea. Now, that might be a little bit of bias as a Chelsea fan not wanting to start Fulham defenders, but I do think I'd play most of the others, and there is a chance that Aït-Nouri plays very advanced for this Wolves team. Then moving into the attackers, Jared Bowen, if you've got to get Southampton, of course, is an absolute start if you own him. Jackson, I do think, starts at home to Fulham. It's a difficult fixture. I do think he starts. João Pedro also at home to Brentford with their defensive woes, particularly away from home and some defensive injuries. You've got to give João Pedro one more chance. Cunha, Chris Wood, Strand Larson over most of the midfielders. Sarr is the best, as I said. Then it's Ahmad. I would start Rodgers over Enzo Fernandez, and then it is the Fulham midfielders in at the bottom as they were in the defence as well. Now, Rodgers versus Enzo is another debate that's really close, but I think we saw in game week 17, quite the attacking threat that Morgan Rodgers can have from open play, and there is possibilities without Lavia for Chelsea at the moment that Enzo might be a little bit more reserved. So looking at the projections then for game week 18, just to hopefully back this all up. In terms of clean sheet odds, Liverpool and Arsenal are both right up. The Arsenal slightly higher against Ipswich, but I would say Ipswich are a slightly better attack with Delap coming back in now than Leicester are, but it's very close between the two. Getting the likes of Gabriel and Trent in should be a priority. If you own a Joshua Gvardiol or a Rico Lewis, I would not be selling Manchester City defenders this week. That clean sheet odds at home to Everton is one of the best fixtures you can have on paper in the Premier League so far this season. Everton defend okay, but they do not have much firepower going forward. So if you own a Gvardiol or you own a Lewis, I would be keeping them and starting them. There are, of course, also the early kickoff going into game week 18, so there's a slight chance we get a bit of early team news, which could be a boost to make sure the likes of Gvardiol and Rico Lewis are both starting. When we have a look at it in terms of goals, we've got Liverpool out in front with 3.65 expected goals. That is why Salah is the best captain, and some of you might be considering a triple captain. Arsenal in next with 3, and then you've got high goals odds for the likes of Manchester City, for the likes of Newcastle, for the likes of Chelsea, Brighton, and Manchester United as well. Some good home bankers with good clean sheet odds and goals scored, particularly for Arsenal and Liverpool this week. So finally, we're going to wrap up by having a look at my team, and I wanted to roll my transfer, I really did. And I could still with Enzo Fernandez first sub and just play him over Bukayo Saka, but it does really look like Saka is going to be out for a while, so he should probably go. The rest of my team is very, very self-explanatory. Bukayo Saka is captain, Cole Palmer is vice-captain, the defence picks itself. There's a small chance that Trent doesn't start, but there's not really much I can do about that, and I'm going to take the chance that he just does. It's just a lot of minutes for him, but I think there might be a chance that Kwanzaa starts over Gomez or something like that. But I'm pretty sure Trent will start, and he maybe only plays 60-70 if that game is won. Outside of that, I do have Ahmad. I'm very happy with him, and I hope he plays in the front 3 again. Jackson and João Pedro, I have my eyes on. I need some goals from at least one of them in this fixture, but they do have a couple of good games. Of course, Alexander Isak is in there. Jackson, there's a small chance he doesn't start. I think if he gets a rest, it's more likely to be away at Ipswich in game week 19. This Fulham fixture is, of course, a slight local derby and stuff like that. And yeah, it's not the most easy fixture on paper. So it really is just coming down to that Bukayo Saka replacement. I think I've narrowed it down to going to Bruno Fernandes, going to Martinelli, or going to Ismaila Sarr. I don't think I'm going to go with Odegaard. I don't think I'm going to go with Anthony Gordon. So those are the 3 names. Martinelli is actually my favourite out of all the picks, but the issue with that is there is a slight chance that I might want Gabriel Jesus if he continues to start for Arsenal in my forward line. And if I go Martinelli, I then don't have space to go and buy Gabriel Jesus. So Martinelli is my number 1 ranked pick as a replacement, probably. But again, it's because it blocks out the rest of the triple Arsenal that I might want that actually drops him down below Bruno Fernandes, as you saw in my players to buy earlier on. So with that being the case, I do think Bruno Fernandes is the most likely. Martinelli is possible, but I do think I'll probably want Gabriel Jesus. I don't think I'll buy Gabriel Jesus this week, though. I could do João Pedro up to Jesus for a hit, but I don't think that's worth a -4. I've just taken a -8. João Pedro still has a great fixture at home to Brentford. There's just the chance that he plays pretty deep again. But the predicted transfer that we have this week will be Bukayo Saka out and Bruno Fernandes in. But it looks like we'll probably be confirming that on the deadline stream because there is no predicted rises for Bruno yet. And I've already taken the drop on Saka, so another price drop won't actually impact me. So that is all for a Christmas Day upload. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I, of course, will be away, probably not replying to that many comments. Do leave any questions you have, and I might have some time today, but it's probably unlikely. There will, of course, be the deadline stream on Thursday morning on the 26th, where we have the build-up to Game Week 18, and I probably confirm my transfer of that potential Bukayo Saka replacement. I want to say a big thank you for all of your support over the months, over the past years as well. We'll have a lot of this sentimentality as we get into the new year as well, but a big thank you. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. A big reminder, we're really close to 150,000 subscribers, which would be fantastic to hit today or tomorrow morning going into Game Week 18. So if you are new and you want to share the festive spirit, drop a subscribe on the channel, like if you are new around here. 2,000 is the aim. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon.